Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the fuck up.
But like at this point, you're the champion. You moved the goalpost, as far as you can really move it in terms of this profession. Where do you move the goalpost now?
Well, now it's about cementing a decent legacy as a champion. Now, I know, of course, that's going to sound controversial to a lot of people because a lot of people are giving me shit. Don't think I don't see some of those comments on Instagram or on Twitter. I know a lot of people say, that I still haven't fought a real contender. And it's like, well, I knocked out, pound for pound, one of the best in the world. And then the UFC offered me Dan Henderson. And now they've offered me GSP. But I'm very aware the goalpost is to beat GSP, and then the goalpost is to definitely face Yoel Romero or Jacare, whichever one is the number one contender at that time. So that's where it's at now. The goalpost now is just cementing my legacy. I don't want to be a champion that everyone says is selling out and this and that and avoiding all the top contenders, because I haven't done that my entire life. So I certainly don't want to do that now. But if somebody's going to offer me a fight against somebody with a proven pay-per-view track record like GSP over Yoel Romero that only has 20,000 followers on Twitter as opposed to GSP's several million, it's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. And the number one contender will always be there after that fight. So, that's where the goalpost is now, bud.
Well, here's the funny part. Look, I understand if you're a sports columnist or if you're a fan, I understand some of the people going like, shit, why have rankings if you're not going to give the number one contender?
Yeah, well, that's what Kelvin Gastelum said at the weekend as well.
Yeah. I understand that as a fan or an analyst or somebody else, but for fighters to say it, that's the thing that kind of bugs me. And specifically Kelvin, and his quote was, because what's the point of having contenders? What's the point of having rankings if we're not going to follow the rankings, if we're not going to follow the number one contenders?
Sure.
It just doesn't make sense, blah, blah, blah. So here's the thing that bugs me. Any fighter in the world would make the exact same decision that you're making for the exact same reason. Nobody would, and I don't feel like enough fighters are coming out and going, well, no, obviously the number one guy at 185 should fight for the title, but don't give Bisping shit. He's going to make the $1 million or the multi-million-dollar payday. Anybody else in that position would also do the same thing.
100%. That's what I've been saying for, I don't know, ever since this fight was made. Several people wanted the fight. UFC offered me. I did speak to Dana when he originally offered me the fight. I said, is this going to happen? He's like, get it out of your head. And I kind of forgot about it. They offered it to me, and I'm not going to say no for the reasons that you just said. And as you say, Yoel, Kelvin, anyone, Tyron Woodley, they all would have accepted it. And on top of that, I still feel that it's still a very, very good matchup. I mean, I know that Joe Rogan, came out and criticized a little bit, and I responded to that, and that's kind of done the rounds on the internet now. But as I said before, the number one contenders are still going to be there. So I'm going to take on GSP, hopefully beat him, because he's a tough bastard. He had a fantastic career and pretty much beaten everybody he ever stepped into the octagon with. So that fight isn't a given. And it's a very credible matchup. And it's a champion, a guy that retired as champion, coming back and facing a champion. That's a fantastic storyline. It's two old school guys. I've been around the UFC for, a very, very long time, as has George. So I feel the matchup is very, very credible. And as I say, afterwards, we'll move on. But and Kelvin did say that. And you know why? Because they all want to fight for the belt. And I get the frustration on your end. If you want to fight for the belt and there's a marquee matchup happening that's going to maybe slow down progression in your division, yeah, that's going to frustrate you a little bit anyway. But Kelvin, buddy, slow your roll. You're not quite there yet anyway. You just beat up, an old age pensioner with bitch tits and Tim Kennedy that looked like he'd been, lifting weights and not doing any cardio whatsoever. So slow your roll, buddy. I get it, but you're not there. You're not a number one contender.